I want you to imagine that you're having a fabulous day. I want you to imagine that you woke up, you're in a great mood, you put on your clothes, and no matter what you put on, you look absolutely fabulous in it. It doesn't matter what your body type is, it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're married or not, how old you are, it really doesn't matter. So just imagine for a second that you start off your day waking up in this fabulous positive mood, and every single thing that you do from that point on throughout that day just kind of falls into its place. And so you start a project and the timeline just seems to flow right with you. No matter what you do, everything works out and everything is great. On the other hand, imagine that the night before you got into an argument. Doesn't matter with who. And instead of figuring things out, thinking it through, you go to sleep and you're angry, you're upset, you're thinking about it, and then you spend the last waking moments of that day brewing, and stewing on that problem. You go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, and obviously your mood is not as good as the day before. So how do we explain all that? How do we explain that the events of the previous day impacting the mood and the actions of the next day? Well, it's actually rather simple. Every single one of us has the ability to think. We do that hundreds of thousands of times throughout the day. Our thoughts impact our mood. I know that some of you may think that that's the opposite, that we think based on how we feel, but it's actually our thoughts that impact our mood. So if you think negative thoughts, if you are thinking about something that is traumatic, that is negative, an argument that you had, an issue that may seem too big to resolve, a challenge that is as big as a mountain and you don't know how to handle it, you're going to continue thinking about it over and over and over and over about in your head. You're going to circle that table without actually sitting down and figuring it out. Well, those thoughts will impact your feelings. If you're feeling negative about something, you'll start feeling negative. If you're feeling anxious, if you're thinking anxious, you're going to start feeling anxious about it. The more you think about a thing, whether it's positive or negative, that's how your mood is going to be impacted. Now, your mood impacts your actions. And so your thought, word, action creates your paradigm. Your paradigm works directly with the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that the type of energy that you are transmitting at that moment is what you're going to be receiving back. And the way that works is relatively simple. So we are all vibrating. Every single thing in this universe vibrates at its own level, its own frequency. The higher your mood is, the more positive your mood is, the more uplifting and quicker your level of vibration is. The lower your mood is, then the slower your level of vibration is. We are all transmitters and receivers at the same time. So you transmit this energy, your thoughts, your actions, your mood. You transmit that energy on a particular frequency. What you're getting back is exactly the same frequency that you're transmitting it. If you're listening to the radio and you tune into, Z100, obviously, you're not going to find the transmission of Z100 on any other frequency than the transmission of Z100. And the law of attraction works exactly in the same way. If you're transmitting on a particular frequency, whether it be high or low, you're going to get back exactly what you're transmitting. So when you hear things like, what you put out, you get back, what goes around comes around, karma, or anything else in between, those are all things describing the law of attraction. And so what we do is we think about a thing, we attribute a particular value to that thing, then we start feeling a certain way about a thing, then we start acting a certain way about a thing, and we're completing that circle. We think, feel, act, manifest. Okay, so you're manifesting your own reality, and you're doing that by thinking about something in a particular way, and then feeling about it in a particular way, acting upon it in a particular way, and then you say, well, that's just the way things are. So if you're feeling bad, right, because you're thinking badly about something, you're feeling bad about something, and then you start acting as you're feeling, then obviously whatever it is that you're thinking, feeling, and acting on is what's going to create your reality. People often complain that they don't want to do something, or they don't feel like doing something, or, for example, a child gets up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning to go to school. He or she is tired. They feel tired about it. They don't want to go. They don't want to get up. They're not enthusiastic about it. Well, that's because they don't have any intention in getting up. They don't feel enthusiastic about it because they think about it as a chore. They think negative. They feel negative about it. So therefore, their reality is created based upon their thinking and feeling. Now, on the other hand, if you tell the same child that they need to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because next day they're going on vacation, Disneyland, a cruise, or an all-inclusive resort, or whatever, I guarantee you that child, that very same child that was crying and complaining the day before about getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to school, will be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, all ready to go, teeth brushed, hair brushed, dressed, breakfast on the table, the whole 9 yards. Now, the difference is their reality was created differently. Their reality was created because they thought about it in that way, they felt about it in that way, and then they acted upon it in that way, therefore completing the circle. So they expect good things out of this thought, feel process, and therefore the universe, which is just a huge copy machine, is going to return those experiences to them. Another example is, how do you feel about money? Ask yourself and be honest about it. How do you feel about money? Do you feel about it as you want more? Do you feel about it as not having enough? Do you feel about it as, a constant state of lack? Because if you do, let me tell you something. That's exactly how you're going to continue feeling about it. Do you want to know why? I'll explain to you why. The universe is a big copy machine. Okay? The law of attraction says that how you think and feel about a thing is what the universe is going to provide you in return. It's going to respond to your transmission. So what you think about the most is what you're going to attract. If you're feeling bad about something and you continuously focus on feeling bad about it, then guess what? You're going to receive all the experiences and all the facts about a thing to validate how you feel about it. So if you think that I'm lacking money, I don't have enough, then what is the key word that you're thinking about there? Not having enough, lacking, don't having it, right? You're not thinking about the abundance of money, the abundance of health, all the things that you already have. You're thinking about not having it. So the universe gives you the experience. You think, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. And the universe says, okay, I'll give you the experience. I'll give you the experience of not having enough money. And then you come back and you say, you see, I told you so. I don't have enough money. If you were to change that thought process, right? If you were to think in regards to money, I have everything that I need, and whatever it is that I don't have is on its way to me, right? If you start looking at things as in, I have the money that I need, I have the money that's required to do X, Y, and Z, then the universe will provide you with the experience of having exactly that which you're thinking about. Therefore, the right financing will come into place. The right people will show up. If you're looking for a job and you are thinking about it in a way that there's not a good job for you, you don't like where you work, you don't like your boss, and you're constantly thinking about it, he or she is a jerk, they don't treat me well, I'm not being appreciated. Guess what's going to happen? The universe will provide you with the type of experiences to validate yourself. Right? But if you were to think about it in a different way, now I'm not saying don't get upset. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get upset. You're going to go through your emotions. But you know what? If you're going to be upset, be upset. Just go through it. Don't stand there, circling that table of upsetness and being furious and constantly not doing anything about it. How many of you have decided that you don't like something and then you complain about it and complain about it and complain about it? But what is it that you do about it? What is it that you do to change your situation? Do you get up in the morning and say, today is going to be the day when I'm going to do something different? No, you don't. So you continuously complain, huff and puff, and you don't do anything about it. You don't make the change to break the cycle. So you look at your boss and you say, he's a jerk, right? He doesn't treat me well. He doesn't appreciate me. And what happens in return? You see that boss as a jerk, as you not being appreciated. You're looking for clues to validate the facts, to validate the fact that your boss is a jerk and he doesn't appreciate you. However, you don't know what's going on in his head. You don't know why he is the way he is. Maybe he's having his own issues. Maybe he's having his own difficulties. Maybe he's viewing you as someone that is a jerk. But if you were to look at him in a different way, if you were to think about a situation that it's not a problem, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to get to know this person, understand how he or she works, understand why I thought about it in that way. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, it's within your thought system that this issue exists. Maybe there is no problem. Why would they not appreciate you? Why would he or she be a jerk to you? Unless this is something that you are thinking about it, subconsciously. Unless this is something that you're attracting to yourself by having those type of thoughts. And in my opinion, and trust me, I went through this. I went through the lows. I went through feeling and thinking that I'm not appreciated and that my boss is a jerk and that I needed a change. And guess what? I've changed jobs. I've moved on. And for a while, it was great. And then I hit the same problem over and over and over again. Why? Because the problem was not with my boss. The problem was not with my job. The problem was not with the office. The problem was not with the people. The problem was in my head. And my head, the thought in my head was, this is no longer what I want. And this is a problem. And I needed to find a solution. And the only way that I found a solution was to move on to something else. I ran away from the problem. Okay? Until about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I started learning and reading and educating myself and putting it into practice. And what I realized is that every single thing that we manifest, every single thing that we bring into this reality, our reality itself is based upon the thoughts that we have in our head. Now, I'm not asking you to dismiss your thoughts. It's probably not possible to dismiss your thoughts. Quite frankly, we don't even know where thoughts come from. But what we do have is the ability to think and understand that a thought is just a thought, right? It's not your reality. Just because you think about it in something in a particular way, it doesn't mean that this is true. It's just a thought, right? When you associate your feelings with that thought, when you add value to that thought, then you start creating your reality. You're walking through the park and you start thinking that, oh my God, what if someone behind the bushes is going to jump out, and start killing me with a knife? what's the possibility of that happening? If you're walking through a dangerous territory, an area that is prone to have those type of accidents, well, that's pretty high. But why put yourself in that situation to begin with, right? What's the reasoning of that? What's the reasoning of your thought? Why would you think that way? And the only way that you would do that is because this is something that you want to attract into your life. Yeah, I know it sounds like, okay, so if I don't want to, have all these bad things in my life, just I'm magically going to think them away. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to happen that way. But what will happen is, once you start thinking in a particular way, once you start realizing that your thought is just a thought, right? Like a thing is just a thing. Until you start giving that thought the power to manifest whatever reality around it, then you have an option, right? You have that option. You have the option of saying, this is just a thought. I choose not to pursue that thought. I want to move forward, and I want to choose a different reality for myself. Think about it as a film, right? A movie playing on your inner screen. You have that inner screen that your thoughts are playing on. It's like watching snippets from a movie. Here's a snippet there, a snippet here, a thought here, a thought there. Sometimes it's in color, sometimes it's in black and white. Sometimes it's something that we relive over and over and over again. Well, you have a choice. You have a choice to change the movie. If you don't like what's playing on your inner screen, change the movie. Don't think about it in that way. Choose to let it go. Understand that you have the power. Now, you may not control your thought process, because those things come naturally, but what you do have is the ability to think and act upon what you're thinking about. Okay? If you receive a negative thought and you choose to dismiss it as just a thought and move on to something positive, then you will be attracting positive things into your life. If you're going to create excuses that something's not going well for you, and you're going to say that it's your luck, it's just the way things are, it's just the way things always were, then what you're doing is you're giving up. You're giving your thoughts the power to create your reality, right? And what you're doing is listening to other people's opinions and then thinking about it in a particular way and manifesting your reality based on that. And that's just the wrong way to live. And it's not something that's right or wrong. In my opinion, it's wrong for you. Why? Because you are not meant to live in poverty. You're not meant to live in, the lack. You have everything that you need. You assume that you don't because you're thinking in that way. Okay? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We think, we speak, we feel, we manifest that which we think about. And many of us continuously focus on things that go wrong in our lives. And that's really unfortunate, because there's so much happiness around us, there's so much abundance around us, and we choose to simply dismiss that because we give our negative thoughts the power to break us down. And whatever happens, you have the ability to change that. You and you alone. If you're going to listen to other people and you're going to value their opinions more than you value your own, if you're going to sabotage your life by giving your negative thoughts the power to control you, then you will never find happiness. That next job that you think is going to change everything is not going to change anything. It's just going to give you a temporary fix until you realize that the same problem exists there. Breaking up with your girlfriend or boyfriend, separating from your spouse, so on and so forth, is really not going to, solve the issues that you have with that individual. Working through those problems will. And that's realizing and understanding that each of us think in a particular way, right? We were conditioned. Our minds were conditioned since the day we were born, right? You're born and you're pure, and no one is telling you what to do and how to do it and how to think. You just automatically know all that, right? You come from nothing, and you were born as something magical. You know, the energy of two people come together and create this wonderful, majestical, being that's able to think, that has the power to grow, to think, to rationalize, to feel, to love, to understand, to do, to create. And then our minds start to go through this conditioning process, as we go to kindergarten, as we go to school, as we go to college, as we start to grow up, and we're told what to do and how to do it. This is wrong, this is right, you have to do this, you have to do that. We get stereotyped, we are put in a box. This box is how our society views us. If you are an African American, then you are more likely to commit a crime. If you're a Hispanic, then you're likely to do more of this or that. If you're white, then you have more doors open for you, so on and so forth. And that's not necessarily true. It's not true. It's who we think we are based on what our society thinks of us, and that's false. That's false view of how it is. You are not your body, your color of the color of your skin. You are an individual, a human being that's able to think and make decisions and feel, and you come from this unconditional source of love, and this source of love gave you everything that you need to be happy. Don't think of yourself as nothing less than perfection. Don't think of yourself as someone that doesn't have something. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever sabotage yourself? You come from this majestical realm of everything and anything being available to you, and now you start thinking about how others view you, and it doesn't matter how others view you. What matters is how you view yourself. View yourself as this perfect being, this perfect spiritual being that's having a human experience. Appreciate yourself for who you are. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It really doesn't. If you look at yourself as someone that's worthy of anything, love, attention, greatness, wonderful experiences, unconditional love, you don't need a reason to feel those things. You don't need a reason to feel worthy. The only reason that you should have is you exist. You exist, you were born. That's the only reason that you need. Don't sell yourself short. Don't fall for good enough. Don't look at it as, I'm not worthy because I did this and this. I don't deserve to be happy because I didn't do this, and that. Who says that? You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have everything that you need in this life to be happy, and you already do. Stop sabotaging yourself. Start thinking in the way that you are who you are for a reason, and you're here to complete your dharma. You're here to fulfill that role, and until you do, you don't get off that easy. You don't get off to punish yourself. You stop it. Stop it. Whatever you decide to do, you can do it. Stop allowing those negative thoughts to sabotage your life. You have the right to be happy just because. That's it. No other reason. Just because. It starts with self-respect, self-love, and understanding that you are who you are. And it's not who your mother made you. It's not who your father made you. It's not who society made you, how society made you. Yes, we go through a conditioning process. Yes, the older you are, the more difficult it is to change. Yes, negative thoughts do creep up into our mind and affect our reality. Yes, bad things happen. And we cannot control the people around us. We cannot control the circumstances. What we do control, what we're able to control, is how we respond to it. And if you respond by giving in and thinking in a negative way, and then feeling in a negative way, and then acting in that negative way, then all you're doing is completing that inevitable circle of attracting negativity back into your life. And until you change that, until you start realizing that your thoughts are just thoughts, and those are like tools, you choose which tool you're going to use. You obviously don't use a screwdriver, to fix a leak. And there should be absolutely no reason for you to think negative thoughts if you want to live a positive life. So my recommendation to you is start realizing and start catching yourself that when you are in a negative mood, in this low mood, that anything and everything that will come out of it, your thoughts, your actions, may be negative. So don't try to resolve problems when you are in that mood. Don't try to talk to people and resolve issues and formulate plans, and you won't be able to tap into that energy when you're in that mood. Just let it go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself out of it, but do not continue to think in those negative ways and feel in those negative ways, because all you're really doing is completing that cycle. I hope to make these videos regularly and to give more and more content. This is my first, and I'm not sure how well it's going to be received, but what I do know is everything's going to be all right.